whenever England owns us again.
Okay.
Or China, or Russia, one of those countries. There is a mouse in this closet.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Did you see it?
Yeah.
Okay. Where'd it go?
That way. You can edit this part out.
No, it's fine.
Okay, well, whatever. Anyways, whenever they own us, they're gonna look back at American cultural icons. He's gonna be one of them, 100%.
Oh yeah,
100%.
You had that moment as we were growing up where like you listened to everything that like your parents listened to.
Mm-hmm.
Like our kids are going to listen to Kanye strictly because
we
listen to Kanye.
Still listening to Kanye. Yeah, no, I definitely think that he will be looked back. I think, and I know this sounds like I'm joking, but you've got like Frank Sinatra,
mm-hmm.
Jimi Hendrix.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think of
Eat World.
Jimmy, no, he's not. They're not going to be. But you got guys like that, those two, and I think you're going to have Kanye. I think you're going to have Kendrick. I think he's going to be up there. And maybe more in the rap sense, so maybe not exactly Frank Sinatra, but I do think that he is one of the pillars that will...
He'll be one of the greats of our time.
Yeah, 100%.
How do you feel about the recent political shit that's been going on?
With him?
With old Yeezy.
I will say this, and it is not based on anything to do with Kanye. I genuinely hear where he's coming from. In a sense of... Because a lot of what he's said... Not everything.
Yeah.
Please hear that. Some of the stuff he said of just being disgruntled with politics and that there is no middle ground anymore,
mm-hmm.
I'm there with. And that for me, in my political stance, we don't talk about politics ever really on this show, but I'll give you a little bit of where I'm at.
We could do a political episode someday.
Yeah, sure. But for me, I for a while definitely consider myself very left leaning, but
mm-hmm.
now I feel like I'm more moderate.
Okay.
Only based on... It's just only based on the stupidity of the two-party system. Because this is the lamest way I can relate it. It's like the Jedi and the Sith. I really do mean that.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's two polar opposites. And the more you lean into it on both sides, the more divisive it is, I think. And I think that if everyone just sat down and listened to each other and not just because you're a Democrat or because you're a Republican, you're going to just disregard everything that other person is saying. I think that has been some of what he said. I'm not saying that is everything he said, because he's definitely said some stupid things.
Oh, yeah, of course.
That I don't agree with. But I do think that one of the things that he said was like, I actually do agree with that, because that's kind of where I'm at. I just am over it. I'm over the two-party system, and I'm over red and blue. It's just, it's a clashing all the time.
Yeah.
And no one ever really comes out on top or unscathed. On both sides.
It's just no matter what, nothing is really happening currently, at least, especially with the climate right now. But I don't know, I think that's an interesting thing, because, like, I don't know, even just looking at, like, the interactions he's had and stuff, like, that's something that, like, completely blows my mind. And I feel like that's kind of the big thing, is, like, you would never expect Kanye West to be, like, hanging out with Donald Trump. Those are two people, in my mind, up until this point, that do not do not clash.
Well, and I think that's the point. I really do believe that, and this is, I think, his narcissism and my assessment of it. I think that Kanye feels like he is going to be some sort of bridge between the right and the left,
Okay.
I really do think that, because I think that a lot of the stereotypes of Hollywood and that nature is a very liberal, side of it. Which, again, in my moderateness, I definitely lean more towards the left. Mm-hmm. But I think that he thinks he's going to be a bridge, and I think that that's why he's doing the things that he's doing, if it's not a character.
Yeah. I think that character is always there, but I do think that, like, to some extent, it's legitimately, like, things he's trying to push for and to achieve and stuff.
Yeah. I just don't know all the things that he said in regard to Donaldino Trumperino,
I just want to know how he expected to abolish the 13th Amendment.
That was the thing that I was like, what is he talking about? Because I heard him try to explain it.
See, I haven't seen anything about it. So I've been like, I have no fucking clue what that even means.
The 13th Amendment was what abolished slavery.
Yes.
I don't think he's trying to say what I read his attempted explanation of, which is just stupid because he shouldn't have tweeted, "I want to abolish the 13th Amendment" by itself. I think he was referring to like, because that amendment in more than just abolishing of slavery was like prison stuff, a lot of stuff going on in like prisons, I believe. Think that's what he was trying to say. I don't even know how true that is. That was just his argument for it, and he was like, a lot of people are just going to jail and staying in jail for, which is true. That is true, but don't just say that. You know what I mean? Like,
you need to say something. You need to explain yourself a little better,
or just because I think that the 13th Amendment has become more so known for the. If what he's saying is true, I didn't really look into it on that end. But I would just say, don't just say.
Yeah, we're trying to get rid of this 13th Amendment.
Oh, that would be so stupid.
But he's coming back around.
Yeah, he did say.
He's dropping politics because he's being used to spread messages he doesn't believe.
Are we doing that right now? Are we spreading his message for him?
No, I don't think so. We're just talking about it.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I just had a...
Yeah, you okay?
Let me just take a sip of this really fast. I just had a voice crack. I'm a 21-year-old man, and I'm still going through puberty.
I don't know, man. It's going to be weird, because here's the thing. Here's one thing that I'm very excited about. For some reason, a lot of people don't remember this, that I've talked to about it. He's already said he's going to run for president in 2020. Granted, this was years ago.
I think that he's going to be the next president of the United States.
I don't think that, because I think that
he's not going to be the next president.
Non-politicians should not be in politics.
Here, I'll say this. I disagree with you in that.
Okay, let's hear it.
Now, do not hear me say that and say that I think Kanye West would be a good president. I think that there should be either a poli-sci, a law, a business, or a medical background if you're going into politics.
Yeah. Okay.
That's all I'm saying. I wouldn't say
explain my point.
Sure.
Because for 2020, at least, from what we've heard, okay, so, old Don Tron is... Old Don the Tron. Is gonna, he's gonna run again, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Oprah has said she's running. I've heard rumors that The Rock is trying to run.
Yep.
And Kanye. No.
No.
That's what I mean when I say
yeah.
You need some sort of background.
I agree, and I think that, unfortunately, and I know this is going to step on a lot of people's toes, including, my family, and I love my family, but Ronald Reagan was not a good president. And he wasn't
a good actor.
And he wasn't a good actor. We should have known he wasn't going to be a good president. Now, I will say this. Ronald Reagan was great for the foreign politics, but trickle-down economics is proven to not work. That's why we had such a depression in the 90s. Nobody really remembers it because we were all kids, but there was an economic depression in the 90s. It was pretty bad for a while. And that was a result of the trickle-down economics. And the only reason I say that, though, is you're right. So we've got old Don the Tron, who is a former TV host.
The old Trump alum.
And then Reagan, who was an okay actor at best.
He was an actor that got movies.
Yeah. He was in things.
Yeah, that's it.
And I do think, I will say this for Reagan, he was a good face for the country at the time.
Good things.
But also like the Iran-Contra deal, that is just some crazy backroom stuff. And he was so close to being impeached, and people don't really remember that either. But it was like one man's final word, whether Reagan knew or not. And word on the street is that man took that bullet for him, so he wouldn't, you know what I mean?
Yikes in the yard. But
back to Kanye.
All that being said, here's one thing that I think that I definitely need in my life. So we let Kanye make it a little bit just to where we can get some debates.
Yes.
Because imagine the shit that he will say. Imagine, it's Kanye and Oprah battling. They're debating.
Yeah.
Imagine the shit he will say.
Yeah.
It's going to be the wackiest stuff in the world. And he's just not going to give a fuck.
Yeah.
He can say whatever he wants. And I kind of want to see that.
Yeah.
And then we're like, hey, by the way, you don't get the primary.
I just don't know.
Thank you for the
I wonder what docket he would run on. Do you think he'd be a Republican?
I feel like he would do some kind of weird independent shit.
Yeah.
Which is, like, fine, because, like, that's not going to win.
Here's all I'm going to say. Kanye, if you listen to this somehow, you're not going to listen to this. But if you do...
I'm going to tweet it at him.
Legalize it. You know what I'm talking about, brother?
Why would he not?
I'm just saying, legalize it.
Here's what I'm going to say.
Yep.
One thing that I think a lot of people don't think about.
Uh-huh.
All right. With all this Kanye stuff going on. Right.
Easy.
You got to think.
Whoa. Take it easy.
Fuck off. Oh my god. You got to think. We know.
Yeah?
That he has some deep-seated mental illness that he deals with.
Mm-hmm.
Especially after, like, his mom passed.
Yeah.
I don't think he's had time to like, really deal with it and process it. Because that, like...
How many years ago was that?
That was, like, 3 or 4, maybe? I think.
Uh-huh.
Like, it's recent enough where I remember, like...
Reading about it.
Being a person. And...
Yeah.
And, like... Because that song came out.
Yeah.
I don't think that he's fully worked through that.
Probably not.
Because that fucked him up.
Yeah.
And then I've heard that him and Kim K are getting a divorce.
What?
I don't know how true that is, but I've definitely read that somewhere.
And
also, the internet thinks her and Drake fucked. Maybe he's not a happy boy.
Kanye?
Yeah. He's got to deal with some shit.
I'm Googling that right now.
So I feel as though he could just be lashing out. Granted, this is not the best way to do that, but I don't know. What do you think, Park? While you're reading,
I Snopes it. It's not true.
Oh, cool. Really? Okay.
Yeah, thank
Cool.
God. That's the only relationship in Hollywood that I ship.
Really?
Well, that and I am pretty bummed that Chris Pratt and Anna Faris got a divorce.
Yeah, I know a lot of people that were upset about that.
I was, man.
What is it about this one?
I'm telling you, like, since one of the first albums that I remember actually listening to, it was I'm gonna pull up the name of this one album while I'm still talking. There were two albums that came out around the same time. It was The Resistance by Muse in 2009,
mm-hmm.
and then it was Kanye. I just want to make sure that I remember the name of the album before I feel like it was My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, but I can't remember what year that came out. Oh no, it was 808s and Heartbreak.
Okay.
It was Muse and 808s and Heartbreak, and those were the first two. Like, you remember listening to music when you were a kid, but like, I feel like, do you remember the first album you like listened to? Like
all the way through?
Yeah.
Oh,
and it meaning something to you.
I want to say the first one that I really remember being like obsessed with and like really listening to all the time was Fun's Aim and Ignite. Yeah,
that was good too.
Like, I listened to that so much, my stepdad had to tell me to stop.
I listened to Some Nights.
Some Nights was good too, but it definitely
wasn't as good as Aim.
It wasn't Aim and Ignite.
No way. But yeah, forever Kanye has been genuinely one of my favorites. Mm-hmm. So, I don't know where I was going with that point.
I don't really either.
But just to say, though, like, he has been, like, part of, like, I've listened to him forever. Everything he does, except, I don't know why I didn't really listen to Life of Pablo. I just heard it wasn't good. And why'd you remember why Life of Pablo? Because it dropped on Waves, or Wave, that title. that app.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm not gonna